YouTube, what the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage here, and I am in the Emperor Edition beta, patch 15 beta, whatever you want to call it. And I've seen several comments already from folks on my first video where I introduced it that said Thorax swords lose to Thorax Hoplites convincingly. I saw several people comment that, and Hoplites are definitely going to be better versus swords in this beta, but I wanted to test it. This is against the AI, so it's not going to be perfect. But it should serve as a a decent media here until I get a chance to do it against a human. But I think that you're going to be interested in the results here, and I'm not going to tell you what those are. But so there's one thing that I think folks really need to be aware of with sword units now, at least ones that carry javelins or pilla. There is a fire at will function now. And you, kind of like in Rome 1, when someone was going to attack your legionnaires, you would usually let your legionnaires sit there and throw their pilla before charging. Or at least getting off one volley before countercharging enemy infantry. And the reason for that is because the javelins do a lot of damage to enemy infantry. Thorax Hoplites and most Hoplites, I think Thurios spears have javelins, but most Hoplites do not carry javelins. So let's watch this. Enemy's going to charge, and notice how I get a volley of javelins off. It doesn't kill any of the Hoplites, but it is going to do hit point damage. There's health for every unit in the game, and it's 60 for each unit, and by me tossing these javelins, my guys not only have a higher attack and weapon damage, but now they're going to also have that javelin damage that they've caused to the Thorax Hoplites. Hoplites will win on the charge just slightly over the swordsmen, but the swordsmen do have the higher attack, and I did get the javelin toss in there. And as you can see, my men are actually winning pretty convincingly over the Hoplites. And I'm going to fast forward. Well, actually, let's get in close to the fight. Some of you have mentioned that the animations seem different now. Yeah, it doesn't look like my Blood and Gore DLC is on either. Let's flip that on. We got to have that. I mean, can't go without the Blood and Gore effects. Wait, they're turned on. Where the heck's all the blood? What a ripoff. Alright. Maybe I'm just missing it. Where's all the blood? Huh. Something I'm missing here? Blood and Gore's turned on, but I'm not seeing it. Well, there went a little bit right there. Maybe it's just not as extreme as it used to be. Anyway, let's look up close to the fights. Some of you have said you don't like it because there's not as many animations. They kind of just poke at each other. But the way that they poke at each other there actually was probably a little more effective way for the engine to work. It's the way it worked in Rome 1. The 1v1 animations are super cool, don't get me wrong. But it can sometimes cause the fighting to be rather odd if they have to 1v1 each other every time that they're about to die. And to be honest, this looks pretty cool right here, these guys going at it. I don't know. I don't know that I see any issue with this, other than the fact that the Blood and Gore mod doesn't seem to be working in quite as dramatic as a fashion as it used to. I mean, I see little speckles of it here and there. Interesting. But yeah, so my swordsmen are handily winning this fight. So I think swordsmen definitely still serve their purpose on the battlefield. And I've heard some people saying, well, Roman infantry loses to hoplites now. If Thorax swords are going to beat Thorax Hoplites here, I'm pretty sure Roman infantry is going to do it even better because they have better statistics. And as you watch here, and again, look how much longer the fights take. Good grief, man, they take a long time. It's honestly, it's a little bit longer than I like for my taste, but I'm going to give it a chance because this is new, and I don't want to write off something new until I get a chance to fully test it and hopefully enjoy it. And I mean, you can see that this grind-out fight takes just about 5 minutes between these units to grind out. That's a long time. And not in real life, of course. Obviously, it would take much longer than that in real life. And I'm just saying it's a long time in the game. And like I said, my initial reaction is it's a little bit weird. But then again, I'm used to playing Rome 2 where it was super fast, I'm going to give it a chance. I'm not going to sit here and just be opposed to it and say that I dislike it. I'm just saying it's a little different. But yeah, look, my swords, I did use the whip, and I used the melee defense ability for my general. But even without the melee defense ability for my general, my guys would have won. And I didn't outflank the other units. I just let them each finish their own fight here. And you can see that my swords win convincingly. So, unless you all are seeing something different, I mean, let me know if you do, but to me it looks pretty clear here. The swords still beat the spears. It's just that the spears put up a much more powerful fight at this point because they have higher armor. And depending on the nature of the engagement, I mean, as you can see, it takes 5 minutes to go about that. And here, some of you might be saying, well, the Hoplites have they have phalanx. it makes them have really strong defense. Well, the swords also have the shield wall, and to be quite honest, I'd still give the edge to the swords because they have javelins. The javelins can force an engagement. If you just go into hoplite phalanx and sit there, the swords can just unload all their javelins on you, and it's not going to be pretty. And then you're going to have to attack them, and they can go into shield wall. So actually, I mean, I'd still easily give the edge to swords in these fights if you use them properly, because it goes back to like the whole Rome 1 thing. That was part of the disadvantage of hoplites against the Romans in Rome 1, was that they could unload all their javelins on you because you had to attack in phalanx formation, which was relatively slow. That's why people in Rome 1 would always do a phalanx charge. They just go charging at the enemy and then drop their pikes at the last second, so that the Romans couldn't unload all their javelins on them. So it is definitely different. Tell me what you all think. Leave your own comments there. Tell me about any other tests you've done or that you'd like me to do, and I'll see what I can do. Heir of Carthage, signing off for now.